What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's where we build Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the breakdown. Oh my God, it's not the breakdown, actually. It's Friday Live, okay? Next week, we go into 700 on the breakdown, okay? Next week, we go 700 breakdown. Damn. It is, I got to tell you, it's going to be 80 degrees out today. Okay, I am not doing overtime. I am not doing no goddamn overtime. I'm telling you that right now. Forget about overtime. Forget about it. Welcome to, by the way, sponsored by Midnight. Shout out to Midnight, the official title sponsor of the breakdown. Okay. See, Charles is out there really doing the rounds. Got to get him on this show this month. Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the breakdown and the DG brand. Also, Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets in our industry. Shout out to Cake Wallet. Also, People's Reserve. You already know what time it is. CJ will be at Bitcoin 2026, and you can go ahead and check him out as he talks about what People's Reserve is doing out here in these streets. Okay, there you go. There you go. Ran through that real quick. It's 1:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You might be wondering, TikTok, by the way, I am currently, the visibility is off. So the only way that people are going to see me on TikTok is if you reshare it. That's it. It comes off on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'll have more visibility. That's it. I don't know what I did. I think it was Landy. I think Landy sabotaged me. That's what I'm thinking. Landy sabotaged me, or one of my haters on TikTok that sells ebooks. They got nervous because I said I'm putting all ebooks out of business. And obviously, you understand what happened there. All right, we got Landy waiting. I don't know how long Landy has been waiting. I did go ahead and change the time for Landy. I don't know if Landy saw it or not. Maybe he's too busy. But I'll bring him on here right now. We can go ahead and chop it up. We also have Rob Nielsen coming out. Nelson coming on at 1:45 p.m. We're going to talk about politics, obviously. But without further ado, Landy, what's going on? Good morning to you, or afternoon. I don't even know what it is down there, but what's going on, man?
It's the morning over here. I am now on the West Coast, so it is the morning. Good afternoon to you, David.
This is the current
Yeah.
situation. Ratings go high, but apparently on TikTok, somebody got mad. This is true story. Somebody got mad, probably, about me mentioning ebooks. So somebody heard through the gate. They're all on there selling ebooks. I mentioned it. All of a sudden, somebody came onto my show the next day. I'm just putting it out there. Email, TikTok. They told me Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Really?
Yes.
Is it a
Next Wednesday,
restriction or?
I will have more visible. Basically, my TikTok is real. They don't even make you guess. They tell you.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
that's the difference with between X and every other social media platform. Because everybody's always on X. Like, am I shadow banned? Are people seeing? No. TikTok will tell you your ass is shadow banned. We are restricting your platform until this date and this time.
Well,
That's it.
If people like and share, you can still get it out there. So if you are on TikTok in the chat there, you can still like and share it. It will notify you if you're sharing, or it will
Yes.
notify others if you share.
But anybody who's coming in here, you're not going to see my. But big news, okay? TikTok has invited me down to their headquarters.
Nice.
So here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I'm dealing with. Some absolute bipolar shit, okay? And I'm not making fun of bipolar people. You restrict my visibility until Wednesday. You've suspended me for 3 days because I aired a live conference of Trump talking, just like everybody else. Yet, yesterday, TikTok says, hey, we love your live. Hold on, I'm gonna laugh. We love your live streams. We love them, and we want to get together. We want to invite you down. Don't worry about it. We're going to get you down here, and we're going to have a conversation. Make it make sense.
Well, one is an automated system, and one is, there's humans looking through and checking boxes. So it's just like anything else. Getting a manual review of anything anymore is absolutely not happening, unless you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, kind of a thing, or you have a direct contact.
It doesn't really matter. Like they're very liberal. Like, that's bottom line. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the things we say aren't bad. It's just that they're not used to this kind of language, right? Like, when you sign up to TikTok, they ask you what your pronouns are, right? And even if you look into your bio, it's like, what are your pronouns? We don't have that on X, right? You don't have that on Getter. You don't have that on Truth Social. You don't have that on, well, I don't know, YouTube. I haven't even checked, but I don't know if they have it on there. But that's what you're dealing with. Respectfully, if you guys love pronouns, God bless you. I mean, like, I just don't accept it. That's all.
Well, when it becomes a company like gate and policy to really put an emphasis on that, then it doesn't stop there. That's the thing. It's like, I don't care what people want to identify as. Go ahead and do you. But when it becomes a company policy to then impose your ideology on others in that type of a manner through punitive action, it becomes like whether it's liberal or conservative, like punitive action against that kind of stuff really is kind of crappy. It's like saying that, like, if this was not marketed towards a general audience, maybe it'd be different. If it was like hyper specific to certain ideologies or something like that, then it'd be a different story, right? Then you can make whatever rules you want, because then it's well known to whoever's trying to sign up that is the ethos of the platform. But if you're saying to everybody, like, no, everybody come over here and get your viral video content fix. Keep on scrolling, keep on tapping, right? And we've got all the content. Then you pick and choose which side of a political aisle is going to win. I don't think is right to do. But we
So
are
it's
beholden
okay.
to this stuff everywhere we go.
It's okay. I will say this. I will even say it on here. Gokhshtein TV is coming. There you go. Landy knows. Gokhshtein TV is coming. And I think it's going to be absolutely big. So no worries. It's no worries. Landy's probably like, what the fuck? No. Hey,
I mean,
I was going to say it today. No
I
matter
wasn't
what.
going to say anything, so I'm just going to let you talk.
No, Gokhshtein TV is going to be dope as fuck. I'm not going to tell you all the details. I don't need. You can't copycat me anyway. I mean, it's the name. The name is. You can come out with your own name, and nobody knows you. But damn, I'm
Well,
fucking brutal today.
I'd hate to break it to you, but I'm launching Steen
Oh,
TV.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Should do
So,
well though. A lot of
yeah.
the racist ass people come on and just. All right. No, that'll be cool. Should be. I don't know. Probably launching next month, so it will allow us. To get deeper into conversations. Not like I want to go ahead and. I'm not trying to cross any lines. Seriously, that's not my agenda, man. To cross a line, get everybody tight or some shit. Like, no. Like, I just want to. If I want to say the word fuck, I want to say the word fuck. Anyway, hello, Wolf Bitcoin. Nice to see you here. Shout out to the Wolf Financials, group. Shout out to Wolf Bitcoin. I don't know how you deal with Landy, but it is what it is. Landy, okay, listen. I don't know. You must be paying them to be on the shows. I don't fucking know. But
if I wasn't slipping Wolf Bitcoin so much Bitcoin under the table, they would never let me up on stage. Are you kidding me? Everybody knows.
There's no way you're not paying them 1 Bitcoin a month to appear on their shows.
So, David, I got to tell you this real quick. I think it's funny because there's certain when I go to there's only really 2 spaces I go to. Right, you don't do spaces anymore, so I go and I hang out with the Wolf Bitcoin crew. I go and I hang out with my friends over at ATC, and they all know to let other people go before I even get on the microphone. They stall because they know that, all right, we got to settle in, get some coffee, put our feet up, maybe take some notes, maybe put on a sleep mask,
from one standpoint, they benefit because, like, if they don't have a host, well, don't worry. If you guys don't have a program, Landy will give you one. Okay, don't worry about it. Every day I got like at least 5 to 10 things to talk about. Bro, 45 minutes in, we're not even at the question. Landy's just like fucking touching on every fucking niche possible. Every category is being talked about. He's talking about TikTok shop and what items are trending. Like, I don't even know. Anyway, Landy, God bless you, man. I wish you talked more. Okay, a lot of people they're saying the opposite. I'm like, I wish this man talked more. Why is he so shy when it comes to talking on the microphone? Anyway,
I mean, think about how much more work you could get done.
Oh my God. You're never one to be lost for words. It's funny. Nope. I was like, today I might keep you on when Rob comes on so you guys can battle because y'all can talk forever. And I can just stand here. By the way, can I say this before we continue? Because I want to go into the markets because it is green. It is green. Okay, It is green. Listen, the traditional markets have been doing well, but it is green in crypto, and that means something. So we'll talk about it. I know you're going to say I told you so. Hold on before you say I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
I seen so you know that podcast that got bought out by OpenAI? I forgot their names. It was like TBFP or some shit like that.
TFTC?
Some shit like that. I don't know. It sounds like the FCC or some shit. They I respect them for the fact that these cats just, they did it as a hobby, right? They came on and they just wanted to talk and they did it as a hobby. They brought on guests. I respect it. And they did like their own camera angles, right? They would sit both, one on
No, it
one
wasn't
side
them.
kind of thing, guests in the
I'm
middle
mistaken.
kind of thing.
It's a
What?
Bitcoin thing. That's a Bitcoin thing. The TFTC is a Bitcoin thing.
No, I'm saying like the podcast though, like those two
Yeah, I'm trying.
guys that got bought out by OpenAI. I forgot the fucking name, man. But the way they did the podcast is like the guest is in the middle, full screen, while they're on the
Mhm.
side, like one here left to the right. All right. And that's unique. Like nobody was doing it like that, and they did it. I mean, like, listen, some production mainstream media companies do it.
I hope they didn't buy it on a letter of intent like they did with their RAM.
But now I'm
It's
seeing other
TBPN.
people, whatever.
TBPN. It's Technology Business Programming Network. And yes, shout out to them. I think they ran a good show.
Yeah, great. Listen, that sounds like a ticket for tampons. But look, now I'm seeing people copycat that style. Let me explain something to you guys. Get your own style. Seriously, I can't take you serious when you're copying somebody else. Like, come up with your own flow. Like, otherwise, people are gonna say like you're just like them. Anyway, that's all I wanted to put out there. Like, don't be yourself. It's okay. Like, be yourself. Come up with your own concept. Because otherwise, like, once you do that, yeah, you want to follow successful people's blueprints, but like, not to the T, bro. Not to. I mean, Honda sometimes designs cars that look like BMWs. That's not a BMW, though. I hope you understand that. Anyway, Landy, markets are fucking green. Bitcoin is sending. Okay, Bitcoin is sending. What's happening?
Well, exactly what I told you would
Here we go.
happen happened. So here we go. Here we go. Look, I said to watch oil. I said to watch Dixie. And this is somebody was saying that NASDAQ is dumping. No, it's not dumping, but nice try. Bitcoin. I'm going to start with Bitcoin here because Bitcoin did something very significant. I had mentioned, I don't remember last that we talked or pulled up charts here, but I've been talking about it on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday market updates. Of course, powered by one David Gockstein. And
Yes.
Hi, Taylor.
That's what I just
Your
saw. I'm
name
like,
is
what the
Taylor.
fuck is happening? It's not my name.
Are we sure that your name is actually not Taylor?
Wow.
That's good. Oh, anyway.
I see what's happening.
That's funny as hell. But
Change that right there. There you go.
that's funny. Oh man.
Talk about pronouns. Anyway.
Right. Look, TikTok, see, he could be a Taylor.
Hey,
I mean,
Taylor
but Taylor
suits, man. Taylor suits, expensive suits. That's what we're about.
yeah, well, Taylor could be a female name or a male name, so it doesn't
Hey,
really matter.
that's true. That is true. Taylor, no doubt.
It's
man.
bi. It's bi. That's what they
Yes.
say. Right?
Yes.
So I'd mentioned to you, and I don't quite remember where we left off last time I showed the chart here, but I've been keeping everyone updated as to my thoughts on, the break above and reclaim of 70 to 72. I was looking 74 to 76. We got that exactly shortly thereafter. Coming into this week, especially Monday, pumping right into that area, holding it, testing 76, holding our upper first, and more importantly, holding the close open at 74. Any breaks above 76, I was looking for 78. So between 70, about $2,000 at a time. We have now tested a major weekly level at $78,000. This is a close open level on the weekly. Anywhere above there, I'd be looking, 78 to 80 if we start to break above it, especially if we start to close above here and we haven't already tested, 80 to 80,500 or above there. I would look for a test up there. Now, one of the big things that I do need to kind of caution everyone on a weekend, it's lower liquidity. So Saturday might continue to float up or might go sideways, might even go down. It's lower liquidity environment. So sometimes shenanigans do occur. But this is a major area of interest. So this move here, if it comes back down, you want to see 74 to 76 hold for a more immediate view of a possible retest of 78 to 80, and any moves back down 74 to 76. If that breaks down, bulls want to see 70 to 72 hold up, essentially. Now, one of the main reasons that I've been talking about oil so much is we have a fractured market between WTI, which is US oil. This is the CFDs on it. I talked about all of this with you above 90 to 95. We were looking, essentially 98 to 102.5 above there, about 105 to 107. I talked about a retest of the highs. We got that. We came right back down to 90 to 95 and then pumped up to the daily area, 105 to 107, and then came right back down and then showed that we could auction below that $90 level. That was kind of the break point. We saw a little bit of a downtrend forming here. We got the confirmation of that downtrend coming into Tuesday this week. And then it was all about below 90, especially on closes, but below 90, going back and testing the low, 84 to 86, essentially. This low to the low that was put in on Wednesday. Anywhere below there, we're looking 78 to 80, and then eventually keep an eye on this wick over here at 74 to 76 is what I'll say. We already hit 78 to 80 area, and now we're getting a little bit of a lower term time frame bounce. Why is it important to watch WTI specifically? Because we have we had the downtrend already locked in for Dixie, and we were looking for this to continue down. And we got the downside move to frankly a pretty major area between right around the low 97.40 to all the way up to $98 even for Dixie. And when Dixie is weak, we see more of a risk on environment. So you see the stock market continuing up, you see Bitcoin continuing up, you see tech stocks performing really well. And in addition to that, I don't know if we've talked about this. I think I did talk a little bit about the deal with the EU. So the EU advanced a trade deal that has been stalled there with the United States that has been in the works since the summer of last year, and they were slow walking it. Well, this whole energy crisis situation has caused them to advance that deal. And essentially that deal is like $750 billion in energy purchases from the United States, another $600 billion in investment, another $500 billion of additional investment. What does this mean? Well, as soon as they advanced that on the 10th, we started to see tankers headed over to the Gulf of America and the Gulf of the United States to pick up oil and other refined petroleum products and natural gas. And we've seen a huge ramp up in production and delivery of light sweet crude here in the United States, which is just lower sulfur, less viscous, more tailored towards. That's, by the way, that's the shale drilling, but that's more tailored towards Asian and European markets because they have the refineries to do it. Here in the United States, we're set up primarily. Not all of it. We can still refine light crude, but we're primarily set up for heavy crude or heavy sour crude, as it's called, which is just more sulfur. It's more viscous, needs a lot more processing. So we import from Canada, we import from Mexico, and now Venezuela, which is also heavy sour crude. And we're starting to get many more shipments in to refine here for that stuff, turn around and sell it. And we have exponentially increased and will continue to exponentially increase in the exports, especially post advancement of that deal in the EU. Why? Because with the advancement of that deal in the EU, it allowed for energy contracts to be signed. Then ships started to head over. And a few different things have happened. Obviously, we'll probably talk a little bit about the Iran situation and how right I was from the very beginning and how right you were in your assessment from the very beginning of this. But with the straits essentially being open. This is something really important to understand about oil, because we're going to continue to see a little bit of a split with oil. If we go back to commodities here, you can see that um, uh, WTI, which is the primary benchmark for US oil, is trading significantly lower than Brent. And people are going, well, why? Why did we even get the flip in position? Because WTI traded over Brent for a little while. In a fractured environment like this, when the demand first started to hit and those contracts started to get signed to come here and pick up the oil from the United States, that demand was massive over the demand for Brent, right? And essentially, what this did is it drove WTI above Brent's price. And now that we've seen the ships actually come in, start to pick up, futures markets start to come down, delivery prices were based on the old futures prices. So now that things are coming down and normalizing, they're hitting speed in terms of filling these ships. What we'll see is that we're going to continue with this fractured market, and I think that we're likely going to see not maybe we'll still see some jockeying back and forth, but we're still going to see Brent trade over U.S. oil. Why? Because in the Strait of Hormuz, even though the blockade, remember now the United States is blocking the Strait of Hormuz. No, they were just blocking, and we were right. I was right. You were right. No, they were just blocking Iranian oil shipments and energy shipments. So if it was an Iranian, if you picked up from Iran, you're not going nowhere. But they were allowing for any other types of shipments and pickups from other Gulf nations. And obviously, this is now with Iran capitulating. What we're likely going to see, though, is you're not going to see a full reopening of the strait. We'll see an increase in traffic, but part of the problem is insurance, because until the United States gives an all clear and a very clear indication that if there even is mines there, that they are gone, you're still going to see that the insurance will remain elevated. And when insurance remains elevated in that area, you get the number crunchers are going to do the math and go, well, even though the trip might be longer to go elsewhere, if I'm saving X amount on the insurance, we can actually save money by taking that trip, even though it's going to increase costs for the actual travel side of things, because the insurance will be lower to go somewhere else. Right. So while the insurance remains elevated, even though it's significantly down from where it was at the very beginning of the conflict, while that insurance remains elevated and we don't have an all clear for mines in the strait, then I would expect there's still to be a fracture in the global pricing of oil between US oil, Brent, and Gulf state oil. So just keep that in mind. I would still be watching oil and Dixie, because if oil heads up, Dixie will head up. We'll see a risk off rotation again. And then if it continues down, we'll continue to see risk being put on the table. Another big change, and I don't know how many people are talking about this yet, but the bond market with that deal with the EU, part of that deal is not just for energy, but for investment. And how are they going to be investing in the United States? They're going to be investing in the treasuries, right? And then in addition to, there's other types of investments that are there for the other portion of investment, but we're talking about trillions of dollars through the end of 2028, or the end of Trump's term, under the condition that tariffs don't go any higher than 15%. And this is where we are right now. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? It means that as long as there's risk on, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies still are treated by the market like risk assets, regardless of which your ideas are behind them and your ethos behind it. They are still treated as risk assets. So 78 to 80, you need to see recover to go test mid to low 80s, 82.5 to 83. Any closes above 80 is fair game, all the way up to 80, the mid 80s, 85, 86. Potentially even into the 89 to 90 area if things really want to rip to the upside. As long as we're trading and closing above, right now, I would say, right around 70 to 72. If we continue to see closes above there, we'll likely have a higher percentage chance of continuing to test higher and maybe even recovering some of these zones overhead.
Welcome to Friday Live. Next week we get back to the breakdown. But we are breaking down the charts right now, the markets. We got Landy here. By the way, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you have Landy who does the market updates at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking all this stuff down. You know, that's why I'm telling you he's going to come on here and say, I told you so. I told you this was going to happen. And he's going to tell you you could have tuned in 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to my show and you would have known. I'm sure Wolf Bitcoin has to hear about all this shit consistently.
We have, between myself and a good friend, Natalie, Nat, we have what's called the Called It, with the New Yorker. Called It.
She's a New Yorker? She's a New Yorker?
Yes. Yep.
All
New Yorkers.
Yeah, that's Called It. Oh, hold on. She says Called It. She's either from Long Island. Called It. Hold on. Called It. Long Island or Brooklyn.
She was in the city for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Called It. Coffee. Give me my coffee.
Shout out to Nat. Yeah,
that would be so. If I actually drank coffee, because I don't. Like, if I actually drank coffee, and I walk into Starbucks, and I'm like, yo, let me get some coffee. Like that. I don't know. That's kind of sexy. Anyway, welcome to the show. All right, so everybody's happy. Everybody right now, everybody's happy. Everybody's
TradFi.
I asked people though. I made a tweet. I said, please, for the sake of God, please don't say we're so back. Just like, don't say it. Just shut the fuck up and let it ride. Because the moment these motherfuckers start saying we're so back, we're so down. That's what happens. It's anybody who I follow or follows me that I see on the timeline that says we're so back, I'm blocking you. Like, indefinitely. I've blocked people and I've gone into spaces and they told me I'm blocked by you. And I'm like, that's how you're staying. Like, I am not going to pardon you. Okay? Let us continue to move upwards. Listen, it's nice to see. Landy, I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. I've trenched a little bit in the last day or two. Okay. Yes.
Yep.
I can buy Bitcoin. I can buy Ethereum. I can buy all these. I've been trenching. Okay. I've been trenching.
Yep.
The trenches are back a little bit. I'm not gonna say all the way back, but there's some life there.
There is some life there. Yeah.
You've seen. You probably, Landy's a sneaky motherfucker, bro. That's all. I'm not gonna say nothing more than that. He is a sneaky motherfucker, bro. No, not in that. Hold on, let me just break that down. That comment. He's not a sneaky person. Okay, hold on. Let's throw that out the way. Let's throw that out. I'm just saying though. It's a joke between us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I'm doing it, he's already been doing it. Okay, like, that's all I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm probably buying the top while he came in.
You remember a couple of weeks ago when I told you I was accumulating memes?
Yeah. Trust me. Okay, listen, but what I said, you weren't here, and I said, listen, if you're in Bitcoin, like if your ultimate goal is to collect Bitcoin. I look at it, now I'm going to say that to me, I look at it as mining. That's it. You're just mining for more Bitcoin. That's how I look at it. I don't care if that's offensive to anybody, but at the end of the day, I want to collect as much Bitcoin as possible. I'm going to trade my way into getting more Bitcoin. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care what anybody says. You want to say I'm a shitcoiner? Go for it. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get more Bitcoin. It's like, you imagine if all you wanted to get was Tesla stock, and then somebody's just telling you, well, because you're going into other stocks, you're a shit stalker.
A shit stacker.
Whatever. Like, right? It's just like, you imagine, you're like, hold on, but like, I'm using Samsung and Apple to get more Tesla. That I know people will be like, hold on, but they're two different things. But it's the same concept. It's like, if I have something that's my favorite and I believe in, which is Bitcoin, and I want more of it, I'm going to look for ways to get it, right? Trade. It's an open market, right? There's a reason why we have a Clarity Act coming. There's a reason why the CFTC and the SEC went ahead and made rules or came out with more clarity for the general public. Hey, you can go look, memes. They're like memes. Listen, that's not our department.
Yep.
That's I know you hate this fact too. Whatever. We're not going to get into that. Landy, because I know where you're going to go with this. That's why I'm going to stop you.
I mean,
we have
I'm
Bitcoin
just
that is ripping. Do you think Bitcoin? Somebody said that they called the bottom on Bitcoin 10 to 11 days ago. Do you feel that we've hit the bottom, or do you still feel that there's a chance we go back down into the 50s?
okay. Well, first off, I want to say that also for anybody that watched on earlier this week, I think all the way back to Monday, I was talking about 705 and then 710 being the next targets to the upside. They got hit for SPY. But for Bitcoin, I got to stick that in there because people they like to think that they can get in my see. People don't want to come at me on the timeline. They'd rather message me in the DMs. So I go through some of the requests in DMs sometimes just to read to see what people are saying. They get really angry over like really weird things. But here's what I'm gonna pull up here.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna pull
like
up
to
the
stick
weekly.
it to people. I'm the same way because, like, in terms of being competitive and like when in playing sports my entire life, I was always like that.
Yeah.
But like, you really,
yeah.
I told you so, bitch. Like, you
Well,
really.
You know why? Because I've never deleted a single recording. I have it all on recorded spaces. It's all in my videos, and I have not stopped putting out content and videos for a very long time. So if anybody wants to go back and try to tell me that I didn't say something or this or that, I've got the video evidence, right? So it's something that, like, understand who you're talking to. You're talking to somebody that has been doing this and putting their actual thoughts in recorded format out publicly for a very, very, very long time. And
That's true.
no one's
That's true.
perfect in these markets when calling them,
Except
but
me.
I mean, pause market, anyone?
Pause market, biggest call of the decade.
Yeah, I mean, I do
You laugh.
appreciate that you took my lead on that when I was calling it
Oh my
literally 2
God.
quarters before.
Yo, you guys were killing me in spaces.
I was killing you because you were calling for the pause market after we had already gotten the correction and like, yeah, we're gonna pause for a while. That's why I was killing you on it.
I
But
said
all
this is
love.
just a
It's just a pause market. By the way, what we're referencing,
the merch store is coming too. So you're gonna have Landy puppet shirts. You're gonna have me, like, pause market shit. The shit is happening, man. I'm telling you, I've been working my ass off behind the scenes. I'm not saying nothing. Today's the only thing that I actually put out there, and that was obviously Gokhshtein TV is coming, and that's gonna be really dope for Landy, myself, and others that are part of the Gokhshtein brand. So it's really cool, and it allows us to obviously continue to grow our audience even further. So yeah, it is what Pause Market t-shirts will go on sale next month. Landy,
see this right here, David? This is when I was on your stage getting people absolutely trying to verbally assault me because I was like, hey, coming into the next year into we're probably gonna rally to all-time highs, right? And then be aware, over here when we were going through this very long drawdown, right? We were all talking about it, and I was talking about the retest of 49K. People were killing me for it. And I said, look, we're probably gonna rally. This was in Q3 to Q4 of 2024. I said, we're probably going to rally and then beware Q1 to Q2 because we're probably going to sell off hard no matter who's in office. Doesn't matter if it's Trump, doesn't matter if it's Kamala at the time, because I think right around the summer is when they did the big switch with Biden and her, right? And I said, no matter whether it's her or Trump, we're going to see a Q1 to Q2 transition, um, drawdown, and that's exactly what we got. Um, Now, David termed it as a pause market, and he was right because boy oh boy, there was days where price did not move. And one of the things that you just asked is somebody said, "Oh, I called the low at 60K." Well, I mean, I also called the low at 60K. I just didn't call it a macro low. I was talking about 58 to 60 when we were at, you know, in the 90s, right? Being an area of interest, especially if we broke below this area here. But let me point something out here. You see that this setup last cycle off of the highs, we had this area here where we got the all-time high, right? We had a higher low. So we had a big structure break over here, nice consolidation. You could even call this a pause market back here, right? Found the low, did a nice, we had a lower high in here as well. We got a higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we came back down. We tested the higher low right here, right? And then we dumped off, and then we started to make a lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, and then we dumped off for the final leg down. Well, not the final leg down. This was actually the main portion of the leg down, then consolidation, and then the final little dip down. You could call it a final leg down to the lows at 15.5 on spot. Now, the setup right now is that realistically, for this to become a macro low, even though we have a higher low, very highly likely by Sunday close here higher, anywhere above $76,000, we'll have a higher low and a higher high in place on the weekly time frame. So this would be a higher low right here.
Man, you
and
think
then
it
we'd
hits
have a
80?
higher high.
You think
Well,
it hits 80?
We could definitely hit 80. The resistance zone right now is 78 to 80. And any closes above 80, if we haven't already tested up towards the mid to low 80s, I'd look for that. The big thing is, though, this is just mean reversion as it stands right now. And the criteria for me to actually solidify this area on a weekly, I'd need to see closes above, even though we'd get a trend change, right? Higher low to higher high. So we get a trend change. I would need to see a recovery of this upper second standard deviation at $98,000, which is the lower high prior to the most recent one. So this is still going to be the area. Now, if we break above $98,000, which I can't seem to select, I got back home and like my mouse is not working correctly at this setup.
Listen,
I don't know what's going on.
Keep that personal shit to yourself, bro.
I know, right? But you can see how this is lining up with a Bollinger Band set here, a triple set. I do want to address somebody who keeps like commenting under all my stuff and then getting in chats and saying that I know it's a Bollinger Band set and John Bollinger created them. I created a free indicator that is a triple set, just a modification of it. And it incorporates a bunch of different tools for those who don't have the ability to use more than maybe one or two based on their plan, or if they're on a free plan for TradingView, you can get this indicator for free. You'll get a Bollinger Band set, you'll get moving averages, you'll get signals, all kinds of stuff. So you don't have to have a bunch of indicators if you are indicator limited. That's the only reason why this is even available publicly for free. So if you keep messaging me about how I'm ripping off John Bollinger, like, no, there's tons of different versions of the Bollinger Band set. I know exactly who John Bollinger
Instead of saying thank you to Landy, they come and complain in the DMs.
I don't know. It's weird. It's been comments on YouTube. They're chasing me around X and like, John Bollinger created these. What are you trying to do? I'm like, what? I'm not charging for an indicator, and there's plenty of Bollinger Band indicators. Just a triple set.
Come on, am I the only one being charged for this shit? I'm so lost right now.
Yeah, I've been charging David a lot. That's why it's free for everyone else.
That's
So, but what I wanted to show you here is, I've mentioned this before. One of the key things is if we were to see the weekly at $98,000 break above, if we get above there, it's all about taking out around 102, 500 on the monthly to the high around 109, 360. So this would be the main zone overhead. And what would get me interested in this becoming a macro low, which would be a deviation of trend, right? Because we have a higher high to a lower low, is recover above 98 and then push above this high at 109,360. So I would have some checkpoints to be aware of. 98 is so close to 100K, so 98 to $100,000. I'd really start to pay attention to this becoming a macro low deviation of trend, and then continuation to the highs here. So based on this setup right here, we need to see a close above, especially on a weekly, but more importantly, a monthly above 98. And then we're above, the low side resistance over here, and we start taking out one of the highs. That's a really good indication that this is not just a low or a local low or a
Yeah.
major low, but in fact, a macro potential cycle low. I'm not sold on that until we see how Bitcoin reacts in the current area that it's in, right? So 78 to 80 is the area. So we have one weekly close here. We've already reclaimed the lows here. 78 to 80 are the two closes up here. So this is the overhead resistance. Now we're above this swing. We're testing into this swing, which is right at that close at 78,000, right? And in this case, it's a little above 78,300, 78, 3 to 4. And then the next close that we would need to see recovered just so happens to be not just a close, but also this major swing low that landed right on it around 80,000 to 80,500 or so. This is the main overhead bearish retest that we are seeing right now. So as it stands at this particular moment, this is all just a bearish retest, and we need to see it recovered. And then we can entertain higher prices. We can start looking towards something like this lower high that coincides with the closes here for the low side structure over here, right? So we can start looking at 86 to 89. That would be the next big area here. And that's where we could see real potential is above there, because then it's all about the next big area. And the next big area is, this particular close open at 97. It's at, 93 and a half. And that's also where this close open is right here for this lower high that put in the swing by the upper second here at $98,000. So essentially we need to see recoveries and methodical recoveries. And right now we need to see this low hold. So the low on a swing is going to be $65,000, which just so happens to be the first high from 2021, right? If we see 65 hold up, great. If we see it break down, not so great. We're probably in for a test of the lows and lower. More likely, like what we did last cycle when we had the little bit of an uptrend before the big dump off. I'm actually looking at this as a mature downtrend, and a more mature downtrend than what we saw last cycle. So I'd just be looking for, a little bit of an uptrending structure to a downtrend, if we were to see 65 break down. So, enjoy the green candles, look for a recovery of the 78 to 80 overhead resistance, and then it's fair game, mid to low 80s to $86,000. Above there, 89 lines up with the upper first standard deviation. Big area, need to see that recovered. And then, while maintaining higher low structure at 65. And then if it does continue up, we want to see essentially 93 and a half to 98 taken out, which is, this area over here, where this higher low and this lower high kind of intersect. So those are the big areas of interest for me overhead. And the only way that I'd be looking at this on longer term timeframes, I'd be interested in seeing closes above 98, because then there is a legitimate chance for this to become a monthly deviation, lower low, just right back to the highs and then continue on later. I still think that, by the way, this would take time. Still looking towards whether we continue up further or reject and go lower. I'm still looking Q3, end of Q3 into Q4 time frame to see a macro low start to be carved out anyway. So could that be what we're looking at now? Yes, it could be that. But is it set in stone at this particular moment? No. But I'm still looking at that time frame, end of Q3, so end of summer, early fall, beginning of Q4 for
But it
a
could be possible
macro
that we
reset.
rally faster than,
It could be.
I know you're saying Q3,
Sure.
but could we rally in Q2 here, especially with obviously the new
Um,
fair chair coming in? Who I'm
could
just saying,
we? Sure. Yeah. And that's where I think that if we were to rally from here, that's where we got to pay attention to the, above $80,000, the mid to upper 80s, this area here, the 86 to 89 right here, because that would be breaking this lower high that we found support on, right? So we found support on this lower high between 86 and 89 on closes throughout the weeklies, and even tested down to the lows here, right? Of this structure over here. So we completely tested this structure over here while maintaining closes above 86. It's when we tapped it, then went above it, lost it, rejected, and we nuked through the rest, right? So right down to areas of interest over here that aren't marked on the chart at the moment. But realistically, anywhere above 90K, we have to entertain a break of this a possible break of this lower high at 98. And that would give us, potential run to, you know, 90, the 90 to $100,000 area and above. But more importantly, we would need to see closes and recaptures of those areas on closes, not just on weeklies, but on the monthly, because that's what would give us the high side structure, would be well within the auction area essentially for the support and resistance and for the risk and reward side of the trade setup. Right
got it.
now, it's a bearish setup, and we need to
Yeah.
see it flip. So here's what I would want to see, because this was a big, and I'm going to get rid of all this fancy stuff here. That's
Yeah, get
support
rid of
resist-
the fancy stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
get
it's
rid
all
of the
fancy.
fancy stuff.
Look at how fancy it is. All right, so this was a compression to an expansion down, and here's what I would want to see for this to become a macro low, because we had a compression at the highs. This is just sideways price action. We get volatility decreasing, we get a compression, and then we get volatility increasing on an expansive move down. This so far is just a mean reversion. So it's a reversion back to the mean. So we got far away from the mean, and then we've now reverted back to it. What I would need to see is a break above, right? This is what you want to see if you want to see this become a macro low. All right. So we've got a break above. So we've got the trend change through here. You'd want to see a break above, right? You'd want to see this hold and then break out back to the top side of this and begin expansion. So you'd want to see this go back into a compression, right? So we'd see the band start to compress back around the basis band here week over week. We get a retest of it. We go back into a compression like what we saw over here. And then we get a re-expansion back towards the highs. We're not set up for that right now, which tells me this is going to take time, even if we were to spike really aggressively, much, much higher very quickly. In fact, the faster that we did it and the sooner we did it, the more dangerous it is for the long side of the trade, because it's more likely going to be a lot of selling in order to capture not only profits from the trade, but people who are trapped and like all kinds of other stuff. And then you get a lot of shorts loading up as well on the other side of that, because most of the market participants in the big institutions is they'll bid up the lows, and as they're pushing the bid up to their asks on the other side, and they do what's called a bracket trade, and then they squeeze that trade in terms of its arbitrage between the long and the short end until there is nothing left, and then they unwind one side or the other. In most cases, they unwind the long side and ride the short side down. And in this case, what the band setup would be is with this kind of a structure, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then a breakout, we would see the band start to compress like what we've seen on the way up, right? You get the big expansion up, and then you get a compression, and then a little bit more of a move up, and then you get a nice, beautiful compression of the bands. In this kind of a scenario that I just pointed out here, which I'm not saying is a foregone conclusion, we would see a compression to a volatility expansion back to the highs. That would look very good. Any kind of quick move from here, without a compression, very highly likely going to be rejected. And as it stands for right now, you want to see weekly start closing above 78 to 80, not just tests into it. You want to see the close above that 80 and starting to push the mid to low 80s near that last lower high over here. That would look really good. Pull in this entire consolidation structure before the move down, meaning that we get a high percentage chance to go and test that $98,000 lower high.
Welcome to Friday Live. The breakdown will be back next week, okay? These are like the Chappelle Lost episodes that you've tuned into this week, okay?
The lost episode, man, those are
The
good.
left, yeah, 100%. These are the lost episodes. We'll look back in 2 years and be like, holy shit, it took so long to hit 700. Episode 700 comes next week.
Oh, I thought you meant $700,000 on Bitcoin.
No.
I was like, damn, that's aggressive, David.
That'll be in 2 years. 2 years. But I'll think of a name besides the pause market. We are going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back we're gonna have Landy here along with Rob Nelson. Rob Nelson hosts a show on the Gokhshtein Network here, Mondays and Wednesdays. I come on Wednesdays and we battle. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the markets, but we're gonna go 100% talk about what's happening in Iran. Okay, we'll talk about geopolitics. We'll get into it. I'll ask the questions. I'm gonna sit back because I love to hear him and Landy go at it because I think they might agree on some things, but I think they both got different takes. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the Friday Live, sponsored by Midnight, title sponsor, also sponsored by Polymarket. You got to check out Polymarket. I am telling you, you want news, you want instant news, you'll find it on there. And I'm talking about, like, right now they have the Democratic Party winning the presidential election in 2028. Like, you got real people going on there and putting their bets on certain topics. To me, it's news. I go on there, polymarket.com, and I check it out. Also, Cake Wallet. Shout out to Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets that we have in this industry. Vic and the team have been working on this wallet, working on this project forever at this point. Forever. Check out cakewallet.com. Try out Cake Pay. Pretty good stuff coming from Vic Sign. And he invests, the cool part is Vic invests back into this industry, and that's dope. People's Reserve. People's Reserve was built on a simple idea. You shouldn't have to choose between saving your money and using it. Traditional finance forces that trade-off. People's Reserve changes that. By using Bitcoin as collateral, you can unlock liquidity while keeping your long-term savings intact. It's a smarter way to put your money to work in a sound money system. So shout out to People's Reserve. CJ will be talking at Bitcoin 2026. So you can catch him there, and you can go ahead and say hello to him as well. All right. Let me go ahead and bring you guys on here. I'm going to bring on this guy that I know. I didn't think it was that heated. People said it was. It was a little bit heated. I don't know, but we're going to bring him in. Rob is here under my name now, which is, now it's getting all weird because I was Taylor today. Let's see if I can
Wow.
do like this.
Everybody's
like
just
that? How do we do
gendering.
it? Hold on. How do I do this? Hold on.
I don't know.
Jesus. Let's go ahead and do it this way then.
I guess I'll be you temporarily.
Let's go. I guess.
I'm a David
All right.
Gockstein. I'm David Gockstein's AI. Feel
Well, what is happening with the name? You can change the name. If you go to the settings tab and you go all the way to profile, you can change your name to obviously Rob Nelson here. Rob Nelson from the Rob Nelson Live Show.
Will that change for you though?
Say that again.
Will that change it?
No,
for
it won't
you?
change it for me. It won't change it for me at all.
Okay.
See, we are all about tech, ladies and gentlemen. We are all about tech. People
Yeah,
say
what do
that
I
we're
want
not
to
about
change
tech.
in settings though? Do I want to change my profile?
No, it says profile. You could change your name in there. You'll see it says my name.
Yeah,
you can
yeah, I'm
change it to
changing
your
my
name.
I'm
Change your
gonna
name.
be Rob Nelson, founder of Gockstein Media.
Okay, whatever. I could care less.
I'm gonna
Okay.
change.
How do I do? You know what? I should. God damn it! I wish they had the template right. Because if I do it this way, well, let's see. Hold on. All right.
Restream
All right,
can
we could do it like
suck.
this. We could do it like this, right? All right. We could do it. I didn't want to do it like everybody else is doing it though right now, but it is what it is. All right, let's do it. All right. I'm gonna ask you guys some, I guess, questions here. Geopolitical topics. The Stray has been opened up today. What do you think about that? I'll go with you, Rob, first, and then I'll go to Landy.
Well, and yes, we did get a little heated, but I thought in the spirit of things, we're going to have a temporary ceasefire, you and I, just like Iran and the U.S. We're going to call it a ceasefire on paper.
Yeah, we called the ceasefire. Ceasefire is intact. We'll negotiate everything else.
We did get fiery. That was fun, though.
I'm going to be Israel, and I'm going to bomb you both.
Oh my God! We're done on TikTok.
Here we go.
It was good to seeing you guys on TikTok.
Here we go. Here's what I think. I think I'm going to double down on my initial thing. I don't think there is any deal to be made with Iran that can be trusted. And I noticed yesterday the head of the International Atomic Energy, what is it called, Associate Agency, whatever, came out and said, if you make a deal with Iran, you have to be so careful you can verify it. Otherwise, it will just be the appearance of a deal, meaning they won't do anything in good faith. So have they opened it? They've said we've opened it just for the duration of the Israeli-Lebanon ceasefire. So I'm going to say this is good. Oil prices dropped 10% like right away, but the ceasefire is not going to hold, I don't think. I'm not sure that this ceasefire, Israel's not going to stop, to Landy's point, until they've made sure Hezbollah's gone. So I'm just concerned that I don't think we can enforce the opening. We can enforce the blockade on Iran's ports, but I don't think we can enforce the opening, and that worries me. But I will give you credit, David. You were right that they were going to open it, and they opened it. So, points to you for that. He likes that. He likes Landy. He likes.
Listen, I'm like Landy. I like going ahead and sticking it in people's faces. Well, wait, pause real quick. But
pause market on that one. Jeez.
Pause market. Landy, what do you think about the Stray being open up today?
Look, I said this from the very start The only reason that the strait was closed, we just had a cruise ship, by the way, sail straight through. This is what was the cruise ship that was trapped there for like 47 days? Um,
Royal Caribbean?
Celestial Discovery was a cruise ship that was stuck, and they literally just sailed through the supposed mined area. And I said this from the very beginning. Shipping didn't stop there, because there's been plenty of times that even the United States has done blockades in the past of Iran. There's been plenty of conflict. There's been ships that have been attacked. There's been all kinds of things that happened there. What is the difference this time? Insurance. Everybody dropped anchor because even just the threat of the area being mined, along with the fact that they don't know how bad it might get in this conflict between the United States and Iran, which very quickly the United States took the military control over Iran was very, very swift. From the decapitation events to the destruction of, the military infrastructure, the manufacturing infrastructure, and then the Navy. The United States military wins were stacked up from the very beginning. All right. And it was not necessarily that ships were, you would have gotten plenty of captains ready to go, right? This is their livelihood at the end of the day. It was the insurance portion. And then everybody was like, oh, well, the insurance portion's back on because DFC. Well, DFC didn't cover property and indemnity. And because they purposely, this was the United States going, hey, we'll cover insurance as long as you pick up property and indemnity, Lloyd's. At least do that. This is essentially reinsurance. And you're not going to get anybody to pull anchor on that. That was literally just a red herring. And the United States wanted the squeeze on the straits. They wanted ships not to go through. In fact, they had a 25 nautical mile radius around the fleets that were repositioning on the strait there, on the other side of the strait, where you wouldn't be able to get through without getting, hassled anyway or treated as a hostile, right? Is essentially what they said. So this was a de facto strategy by the United States to choke it down. What they weren't doing is they weren't just stopping ships, though. They were allowing the very risky tankers that wanted to go in and pick up Iranian oil and then come back out the other side. And once they started the negotiations, they leveraged the blockade to shut down Iranian shipments. Now, of course, remember, it was reported that day that like, oh, they're blockading the entire strait. Look at now, it's the United States doing it. They're blockading a blockade. There was never any real threat of a blockade. Iran didn't have a military to do it. They've got some fast boats left. They would have been taken out immediately. The biggest problem was the insurance and the threat of potential harm to any of the people and assets moving through the strait. That's what shut things down. It worked to the United States' advantage. The blockade, by the way, hold on one sec. I want to finish with this. Not only, you got to remember that there was clear strategy to this, because in January, the Iranian rial tanked 95%. There was economic warfare before the actual strikes began. January was your lead. Maduro wrapped up shortly thereafter, and then it was right to Iran. We had already destroyed the economy there through economic warfare. And then what happened when the blockade went into effect? It went from 95% to essentially zero. As soon as the blockade took effect by the United States, the economic pain only intensified. They literally were worth, Iranian rial worth zero at that point. And now that put the pressure on them, China, Russia, and the rest, to put pressure on Iran to make a deal. So we'll see where it goes, though. We don't know.
Rob, what do you think?
Give Landy. What's that?
No, I said, what do you think about Landy's thoughts on the situation in Iran?
I mean, listen, Landy, I'll give you credit. It's a relatively ingenious argument that you're making. And it's I love that, you've framed it through both the financial side and, given your background. And I love, by the way, watching your Bitcoin charting. That's like, I swear to God, those Bitcoiners, the guys who watch, it's like porn for them, watching you move the charts up and down. but but it's like, and we need this here. It's creative, Landy, and there may be truth in it. The only thing I'm asking in that is, if it were true, like, who thought that out? Because honestly, this does not work well politically for Trump or the Republicans. I don't know. No one's going to convince me this comes out good for them. And I know polls aren't everything, but they are getting hammered. And if their goal was, yeah, we're going to shut it down temporarily and let Iran pretend they're shutting it down. I mean, it just, and David and I got a big thing on this. When Trump said, we'll have a ceasefire if you open the Strait of Hormuz, and then they don't open the strait and we still have a ceasefire, it looked like we're not really in control of the situation, and that Iran just is willing to go full on Emperor of Japan, World War II, and like to the last person alive.
With what Navy? With what Navy? All they have are anti-threats, and the administration knows that.
Well, they do still have apparently those missile silos located along the strait, close in, that boats go by, right? And so I'm saying you're wrong. I'm just saying the political repercussions of this war are going to be there's a lot of the mega base that truly, like the Marjorie Taylor Greene types, who truly were like, no more foreign wars, no matter what your justification. And now you just got us in, and I agree with you. Militarily, we decimated, we dominated. Don't mess with the U.S. of A. Like, we proved it. Like, David and I got in this. I'm like, why didn't we just finish the job and cripple the regime to where it is non-functioning, period? And then maybe we could make verifiable deals.
Okay.
Well, it's still
here. I was on Rob's show, and Rob isn't, and hopefully, Rob agrees here with me that I'm not just misconstruing his words. But he believes that we should have taken out the entire regime. Like, there's no negotiating with terrorists.
That was never the
I've said
goal.
that before.
That was never even the stated goal. The entire time, the administration. I get what. Hold on. I get that people want the regime taken out.
My question to you is: do you think the United States should should go there in terms of taking out the regime that's currently in place?
No,
because part of it was Trump did go out there and say that he wants to see the people of Iran liberate themselves, right?
Sure,
so he was going to help them do that. So my question to you, Landy, is: do we need to go a step further in order for that to happen for the Iranian people?
No. So here's how you know that there was never an intention of invasion for ground troops to do manual regime change. There is that we never built up forces. We have 50,000 forces with 10,000 more or 10,000 on the way between the aircraft carrier and the additional MEU that were headed over there, which, by the way, everybody's like, oh my God, look, there's an invasion. That is not an invasion force. Anybody that understands the military is former or current military understands that that's not an invasion force. And these are like the MEU is an amphibious unit. The other troops, there's 6,000 on the aircraft carrier. Most of them are not, most of them are going to be supporting the air and sea dominance. The MEU is there for multi-operational roles, like what you saw with the rescue of the downed pilots and the Wizzos.
But Landy, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? If that's true, and I'm not saying you're wrong, the whole idea of next comes, Trump made it sound like a holiday. It's Bridge and Infrastructure Day, right? That didn't necessarily require troops on the ground. The debate went back and forth, right? But theoretically, that could have still been. It would have probably required some, right? Air power, right? Wait. So why did he say that? Again, when David says I wanted the regime removed, hold on. When David says I wanted the regime removed, or that was where I thought they were going, Trump keeps saying we have a new regime now. And my argument is, you don't have a new regime. You have the leftover leadership of the old regime. They may be even more hardline, but you have not actually come close to replacing the regime. So any deal they make will be no more verifiable than the deal the first Ayatollah made.
Okay, I get it, but here's the thing. He is 100% correct in saying that this is de facto regime change. It's de facto regime change because they have eliminated very specific targets within the regime and then avoided eliminating others. If you look at the actual list of leadership that is gone, it's primarily IRGC and Basij based. The Artesh has been almost entirely left alone. Why would they leave the Artesh alone? By the way, for those that don't know, that's their regular army, basically. That's their actual military, because they have a mosaic kind of a defense, very similar to what is in Venezuela. Every kind of general gets their own area, but there is kind of a hierarchy between the military and the IRGC, with the IRGC calling the shots more. You have the political infrastructure separated, and they specifically, between Israel and the United States, they've left the Artesh in power. And what this tells you is, and also bridge and infrastructure, you don't need ground troops to blow that up. We have air superiority
Right.
there, and then in certain sections we have complete air dominance. So there is a
Right.
difference, by the way,
So
for
why
those
didn't we
that
do it with my
understand that.
question to David? My
Why
question to
didn't
David
we?
on Friday and to you. Why didn't we just finish the job?
Well, because
David has
okay,
a theory.
first
David,
off,
tell your theory. Your theory is Trump was being like giving people a,
Well,
Trump is
here's my
being
thing.
deceptive.
Like I've already stated this. I'm gonna let you guys argue, debate this out. I don't want to say argue. I'm gonna let you guys debate this out, but I think
We're having a
obviously,
conversation.
I kind of agree with Rob here a little bit, just because you're leaving some of the old gang members in charge, right? So like,
Oh,
my only thing is that like Trump did go out, and
we
I'm a
have a
big Trump guy.
model.
You guys know this. I'm a big Trump guy, but I want to see the Iranian people. I want to see them liberated. I really do. I
Sure,
really do. So like, I'm
me
not
too.
advocating for war, by the way. Just want to make that very clear. I hate war. I'm anti-war. Anybody who knows me, I'm anti-war. But if we're here right now doing this operation, all right, at what point do we just go a little bit further with this to bring in a new regime? That's where I stand. So
Well,
the Iranian people are free.
okay, so I understand, because of the historical precedent set by the mullahs, specifically in Iran, that any elements left are very highly likely to not keep their word, right? And that's why I think you're
Mhm.
not going to see you're going to see likely what's going to happen from here. And this is because we have a model for what the administration is doing from the moment we saw leadership, the leadership list of eliminations really get filled out. The picture really became very clear. The picture is that of the Venezuela model. And remember, all of these same fears, whether it was China and Russia are going to go to war with the United States, China's going to go after Taiwan, they're not going to be able to control the generals. It's too decentralized in Venezuela. Too many of them have too many vested interests and like all this other stuff. But
Well,
we
Landy,
have a model.
can you compare Venezuela
Yeah.
to Iran? Like,
In the operational sense,
Yeah.
yes. In the ideological sense, in
Yeah.
the historical sense, no, because they don't quite have the same history. Although remember, from Chavez to Maduro, there is a lot of history for the setup. It's a very similar
Yeah.
setup across both of the regimes,
all right, so
but
I'm
the
gonna,
mullahs are maybe more
But
hardline. So let me finish though. Let me finish my thought real
okay.
quick. I do feel as though what we are seeing now, especially with some of the additional moves, putting the squeeze on China. You saw Malaysia, Indonesia, you're seeing all of the different shipping lanes being locked up by the United States. When you look from Venezuela to Iran, the commonality is, Russia, China, primarily China. And you see the different strategic moves that are being taken in South America to root out Chinese influence. Right now, it's still ongoing. You're not hearing about it because this is dominating the headlines. But I do think that if you look to those Abraham Accords, I think what the United States is going to attempt to do is pull a rabbit out of the hat again, like in Venezuela, but in this case, utilizing the influence of the Gulf states and China to put pressure on whatever elements remain to then concede to the United States in terms of what we want and maintaining that agreement. And if they don't, well, as Trump had said, then we're just going to go right back in and start taking everything out. The Bridge and Infrastructure Day stuff, a complete air power stuff. If you really want to change the regime, you either need an uprising from within or you need an invasion force to root out those elements, because all they do is hide within the population. And that becomes a messy, messy situation that the United States doesn't want to get in. Trump doesn't want to get in. And he's indicated that he doesn't want to get into it through actions militarily, geopolitically, and through what he has said publicly.
Okay, so quickly, Rob, unless you want to, Rob, go, and then I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, and I only got about 5 minutes, so a lot there. So just all I want to say to that, Landy, is yeah, maybe all of what you're saying is true. You put a lot of things out there. I'm going to just put a thought out that I believe. If you're right, there is no version where I think Donald Trump thought this out. No matter how many degrees of, dimensions of chess people like to think he's playing, and he is a smart guy. He's a smart guy, but he's not. This is the kind of stuff that would be like the neocons or the whoever, people deeply rooted in foreign policy, in military policy, would craft. And I think Trump played a much simpler gambit. And I think your point about, hoping that, the Venezuela-U.S. difference, Venezuela-Iran difference, that they hope the similar thing. I think you are literally playing poker. The fact that the mullahs, the fact that you have an Islamic caliphate, the fact that they literally believe dying like is sending you to heaven. So therefore, if everyone dies, it's better than if you surrender to the Western Satan. I think you are playing poker. It's like a professional poker player, and like Trump's like that, with somebody who literally doesn't play the same game. You can't bluff with them because they're insane. So I feel like Trump maybe did a bluff. Bridge and Infrastructure Day was a bluff. He wasn't really intending on doing it, and he's not. He's not going to go back and do it now. Polls will crush him. I think with the poker player, it's like who's crazy, and it doesn't work. You can't bluff with them because they'll just be like, okay, then blow us up.
They have no chips left. They expended all of their chips. And if they concede to the United States and the United States goes in and jointly removes nuclear material, they have lost the game. There is no upside for them. This is a long game. This is not a months-long game. This is a long game. They've lost all of their upside. Their allies didn't come to their aid. They are being surrounded and crushed. And if you even look at the Gulf states that still held bank accounts, or they're done. Look at the Chinese bank accounts. Look at the way Bessent. You can't tell me that this wasn't planned when you have Bessent, who is literally working on this for over a year. You've got a strategic plan to hem in both China and Russia through Venezuela, and then sail immediately. CENTCOM getting ready right there in Iran. You can't tell me that wasn't a plan and this was just some whim. There's no way.
I didn't say that. I said I don't think Donald Trump planned it. That's all.
How do you?
I don't think I don't think it's in his best interest. He wants a legacy,
it's in the security documents that they released last year.
He wants Republicans to get reelected. Trump is a lot of things. He is not a geopolitical genius strategist. He's just not, by his own admission, the way he operates thinks. He's like a deal maker, and he just tried to make a deal with Iran like he did with Venezuela. And it's not going to work because you can't make a deal with a psycho who has nothing to lose.
You're prescribing a foregone conclusion when we have only just taken the next step as of today.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So my point.
Yeah. You might be right. That might be true.
The national security documentation.
The midterms are in 4 months.
Have you read
the midterms are in 6?
Yeah.
The midterms are in 6 months. And if Republicans lose, Trump's impeached, and everything goes a different direction. So I'm saying Trump knows that. So he doesn't have 3 months to play this out.
Trump has been impeached so many times. I don't think that matters.
He wasn't impeached when the Democrats controlled the Senate and could convict him. If the Democrats win both houses in the midterms, they impeach him and convict him within 4 weeks. Go to Polymarket.
We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Let's let's give that one some time.
right.
That's a whole
All right.
different conversation. But let
Boys.
me just ask you this.
Let David in because I got to leave in 3 minutes. So I want David to
I just
get,
wanted to
you know,
make a
this is
request real
Go
quick.
ahead. 30 seconds. Go.
Request. I want you to go and read the national security documentation that the Trump administration put out last year, and everything will become very, very clear to you that this was very well planned out ahead of time. Whether you think it was Trump's plan or his advisor's plan really doesn't matter. It's the administration. And I encourage anyone to go and read it, because anyone surprised by any of this stuff didn't read the actual national security documentation, because it encompasses everything from geopolitics to economics. And this is all part of that strategy. And it's been moving in lockstep, point by point. They haven't missed a single bullet point yet.
All right. I want to ask this question to both of you guys. You can, whoever wants to go first goes first. All right. Things go well in Iran. It looks like that's where it's heading. Rubio has been negotiating a deal with both Israel and Lebanon to go ahead and call peace. Apparently they're meeting, I think, next week, right? Next week, I believe Monday they're meeting for the first time in decades. They're going to sit down at the
4
same
years,
table and have a conversation. So here's my thing. Do you, if there is some sort of agreement that is put down with the United States and Iran, do you think, I'm going to say something that everybody's going to say, how dare you say this, but do you see Israel coming in and maybe spoiling this agreement? Because they've been saying that they're not finished with Iran.
I'll answer first. And guys, I apologize. I have to leave in 2 minutes, but I'll be real quick. The answer is yes. I think they do not make peace with Hezbollah until Hezbollah has been completely annihilated. And I think even if it's temporary, they go back and finish the job. Two, I think they might decide for themselves to push into Iran further without us. I think Israel has the capacity to do enormous damage in the region and has a self-interest different than ours. They are like, as now that we're close, this foot's on the neck. We're not going to stop till we finish the job because it'll be harder to come back. That's just what I think. I don't think they're playing. And this is not knocking on the Jews. I'm a pro. I should have been a Jew myself. Like my girlfriend's half Jewish. Like I love the Jewish people, but I also understand their mindset. And their mindset is, we put up with this for too long. We're not settling till it's over. And Netanyahu's a war president, David. You and I know that. This is what he's good at. He puts the blinders on and doesn't stop. That's what I think.
Landy, obviously Trump came out and said on his tweet, he said, essentially telling Israel, like, you're not doing anything. That's how I read the tweet.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I posed that question. What do you think?
Look, Israel is unpredictable in this regard because, look, they are their own nation. They're going to do their own thing. It's really a matter of what is the incentives that could be removed from Israel. A lot of people, a lot of people don't know this, but there is cards to play to get Israel to stand down from the United States side of things. Look, like most of the missile defense contract industry is over there in Israel, right? That helps maintain those systems there. Those are all civilian defense contractors with, clearances that go over there. There's other things and other, deals for weapons. There's all kinds of things that could be, all kinds of strings that could be pulled, but Israel is fickle in that regard. And look, I'm not going to sit here and bash on Israel. I think that they have a realistic viewpoint and realistic gripes, but I think that it would benefit them to follow along on this one because of the Abraham Accords. Remember, the Abraham Accords included Israel. This is essentially a Gulf state pact with Israel included in there. And there's more that are probably going to join. Right now, we've seen Saudi Arabia and many others flip, and they now have become very strong allies to the United States, even restricting accounts with the Treasury Department from Iran. That's only fairly recent. So could the Lebanon situation, if it goes well, I think that Israel stands down. If it does not go well, I think that you'll know when there's missiles flying in the air. I think that that's going to be the tell right there, is how that meeting goes. And, they might screw around. They might test around a little bit before then as well. Um, the Houthis and Hezbollah, Israel has, and even the United States has indicated that part of this deal with Iran is not including that stuff because they have the upcoming meetings to potentially
Right.
settle those tensions, but
Right.
also reserving the right that we don't know, Israel could start popping off at any moment, right? Because that's just kind of the way Bibi does it over there. And, David, you well know that I'm not the biggest fan of Bibi, but I also understand where they're coming from in that regard. But at some point, you got to let the United States take the lead here as your ally instead of undermining some of these potential negotiations in the future. So let's just hope for the best in that regard.
Yeah, my thing is, I don't think Trump. I think at some point, like Israel has to recognize that Trump can't take on, and the Republican Party that has stood strong with Israel, they got to recognize that, we got our own country to run, and like this will affect Trump. Like if they do something and Trump comes to the table and there's an agreement, and then 2 days later something goes down, they're gonna really put Trump in a hard position. That's all, and it's really Bibi. I want to thank you guys for also coming on here today. I just want to say this: it's when people get on it's not the Jewish people are not running the country. There's a government that runs Israel. Okay, so if you're mad at somebody, be mad at the government that runs, Israel. That's it. Like that. Like bottom line, the Jews are not. The Jews are not calling the shots, all right? Jews just want to live. Keep it at 100 with you. Jews just want to live and have a good time. The government is who you go after. Do I like Bibi? No, I've said it multiple times. But if you want a wartime president, it's Bibi, right? Because Bibi's going to go to the end of earth to go ahead and make sure that he's going to protect Israel. So that's it. Again, should there be another prime minister that is more maybe more headset about bringing nations together, being a part of everything that you just stated? Yeah, 100%. I think that would be the right route to go. We'll see what happens. I just hope they understand. This is what I hope they understand. The younger generation looks at Israel very differently now, and it's sad because like it used to be like a lot of people used to support Jews and Israel. Now it's a lot different. You got social media, it's ramped up. You got a lot of bots out there. You got a lot of propaganda that's being pushed out. And it's not favorable towards Israel right now. Period. Everybody thinks that Israel runs America, which it's not true. If you want to talk about people running America, because every time people say AIPAC, I'm like, okay, let's talk. You're talking about a little percent that they go ahead and donate to all these fucking, to all these things here in America. Let's talk about pharmaceutical companies and such. Anyway, all I want to say is like,
Let's talk about Qatar.
They're gonna leave Trump and his administration no other choice but to say like, guys, we told you we're not helping you here. We're done. Like Trump has come out. Trump is one president that's come out a lot and has really been critical of Israel. So I'll say that, for all the shit that Trump gets, there are more sound bites of him being critical than any other president, at least in my lifetime. That is
He's
served.
being fair. There's critical, there's fair,
guys,
and then there's BS.
I gotta depart this amazing conversation. So this has been great. And David, it's been fun to watch you as the referee, because on Wednesday you put the gloves on and get back in the ring with me. And then it's but it's fun watching both. This has been really
And
great.
I appreciate
And
you,
I'm sorry
Rob,
I
for
have
coming
to
on.
go.
We'll have you
It
on
was
next
great to talk
Friday,
to you
and
again, Rob.
we'll do this again. Landy versus Rob. Okay, questions. Obviously, I'm sure there will be a lot more. We're going to Cuba, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of things to go ahead and have a conversation about. Rob, thanks a lot for coming on. Rob Nelson, everybody, you can tune in 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll be on Wednesdays as well, as long as he invites me on there. You tune in. Rob will give his takes on what's happening in the world today. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
See you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
See you, David. See you, Landy. Bye.
See ya. And with Landy, obviously, Landy's on here at 12. Hold on, let me Rob. Again, we're very techie. Hold on one second. Let's go ahead and I just want to thank obviously Landy. Landy comes on here at 12:15 every single day, Mondays through Fridays, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Landy on here talking with me about all the trending news out here, especially breaking down the markets. And if you want to get ahead, okay, and you want to front run the markets, well, why don't you tune in to Landy, okay, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Put yourself in a better position, and it's fucking free. He's not charging you. He's only charging me, okay? And you can also find him on Wolf Financial Spaces, where he breaks down. I told you, there's only a few Bitcoin spaces that I actually like, and I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass, period. If I don't like you, I don't like you, and I tell you how it is. But at the end of the day, there's only a few spaces on X that are actually providing any sort of value. Check out the Wolf Bitcoin Spaces. Check out Landy and the other folks on there who are breaking it down, actually giving you value where you could take it and, again, put yourself ahead of the game. Landy. I have
the biggest smile today behind this microphone. It matches my puppet smile because, boy, oh boy, I've been smiling the entire time from day one of this stuff going on.
I know. My thing about, about what's happening over in the Middle East, and I've obviously seen it. I'm on here, on social media. X is like town hall when it comes to that instant news. A lot of people have been calling me, obviously, Jew, and if I say other words, I'll be Steen. Apparently, again, this week I found out I was Jewish. Like I told you, Landy, this week I found out that I was Jewish. But no, this is weird. People are weird.
Digital Alki called me out for being a puppet of the elite. Who do you think? Do you think that I'm the puppet or the puppeteer? Because I'm behind the microphone. The puppet's what's on screen.
I've been called everything. There has been so much anti-Semitism towards me. It's crazy. I don't really care. Like, I don't give a shit. I really don't. Like, I sincerely say that. I don't. It's, when people are saying the consistent line and it's the same line as copy and pasta kind of thing, it's like, whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point. Like, continue to say it. Like,
when you're getting attacked by the lefties and the
right. It's like left and right.
It's the fake right. Let's be real. It's entirely, and they're being slowly exposed. Wait, because as we come into midterms, the fake right that's now howling in pain because they were so wrong about everything they've ever said is going to just get worse.
No, but this is so. I agree with you. I think all these people that came out against Trump and they said, "Oh my God, look what he's doing. He has no plan." And this is my thing to Rob when I came on to Rob's show on Wednesday. I said, none of us know what the plan is. I'm not sitting in the briefings every day. I don't know what they're doing. We're only coming on here and guessing as to what's happening. When people say that Trump doesn't have a plan, how do you know Trump does not have a plan? How do you know this? How are you guys so sure? Even if you don't like Trump, how are you so sure that Trump doesn't have a plan? Let me ask you a question. Do you guys think that Trump just got fucking lucky? Like, you actually believe these stories that, oh, he's just successful because his dad gave him a shitload of money? No, that's not why he's been successful in New York City. You guys don't understand how hard it is to build in New York City. Do you know who Trump had to deal with in New York City? Trump was dealing with... Trump's dealing with the mafia out here. Yep. They ain't shit compared to what's happening in Washington. He's dealing with the mafia. And you think Trump is stupid? You think he's low IQ? No, he's not stupid. He is absolutely not stupid. Trump knows how to play this game. He makes, the smartest people make you believe that they don't know. That's the thing. The smartest people on this planet make you believe that they don't know. Meanwhile, they're moving absolutely phenomenal on the chessboard. At the end of the day, I'm not sitting in these meetings, nor is Landy, nor is anybody else, left or right or woke on each side. You're not in the meetings. You're not. So you don't know what is being said by Pete, okay? You don't know what Marco Rubio, you don't know shit. You're only, most of you guys are getting your thoughts from fucking mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, all these motherfuckers. So you're brainwashed. You can't even think critically for yourself. That's pretty sad, okay? Whether you're a lefty or a righty, it's pretty sad when you have mainstream media telling you, okay, how to think. How about think for yourself? Take all this shit. I watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox. I put it all together, and I come to my own conclusions. That's it. But whether my shit is right is debatable, because at the end of the day, when you say that Trump doesn't have a plan, you don't know. As soon as somebody says Trump doesn't know, or Trump didn't have a plan, or he wasn't expecting something, I look at you in a way that I think you are absolutely delusional, especially when the United States government has been running simulations on this shit for decades. And here you are sitting here disrespecting our military. Forget about Trump. You're disrespecting our military, acting like we don't have a plan and we don't know how to execute. You guys, honestly, you need a reality check. 100%. And to finish and land here, on the Israel topic, I don't care if people fucking call me whatever they want, go anti-Semitism on me. Like, it's fine. Great. You're just showing, a lot of you guys showed your true character to me, excuse me. A lot of you guys showed your true character, 100%. Some of the people I was friendly with, you have the audacity to go ahead and say, oh, it's all about the Israeli government, but then you're fucking just ripping apart Jews, which is absolutely unfair. So it is what it is. Continue to do that. This trend will go away one day, and we'll look back and you'll look bad. But I wanted to say this about Israel. Regardless, right now, the younger generation, and this is what Charlie Kirk was really pushing out there to the administration, to try to rectify it and steer people back in the right direction. He said the younger generation doesn't like Israel. You can go look at his tapes. Go look back at what Charlie was saying. Charlie was in the trenches. Charlie was really in the trenches. Charlie Kirk was in the trenches, and he was telling the administration, you are losing the younger base, okay? You're losing it. He was trying to tell some big-time Jewish players the same exact thing. You're losing the base. And I believe that to be true. I believe, no, right or wrong, whatever you want to deem it, people believe a lot of this shit that's being pushed out there. That's it. That is it. So I hope Israel understands it. Listen, Israel, you have people, Israelis, that believe America controls Israel, and then you have people in America that believe Israel controls America. So like both sides, both people or people that live in said nation believe the opposite. Things need to change. Like if right now, if America comes to a deal, Landy, Israel needs to back down. Like bottom line,
bigly,
because they're going to forget about people's opinions. They're going to lose Trump. Trump is trying to make sure that the midterms they win that.
Yeah.
If they come to a deal and Trump pulls all these maneuvers, which benefits the United States of America, and he can now say, look, people are coming to us to get energy. Like we control everything. We've gotten everything back that China and the rest of their little friends try to go ahead and steal from the United States of America. If shit happens there after an agreement gets done, because you know how Trump loves saying that he ended 8 wars, this would be 9 kind of thing. If something happens, Trump is going. I know. I can feel it. Trump is going to say, you know what? Fuck you. I feel it in my gut. That's going to happen. He's not like 2 times already. 2 times. This is why like I'm not a big fan of Bibi. 2 times already. Trump has been caught off guard because a reporter would come up to Trump. I've seen it and say, "Hey, do you know what Israel just did?" And he's like, "No." And remember when he was walking towards the helicopter, and he said, "What was the famous thing?" He said, "These two don't know what the fuck they're doing." Was that it? Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not me against Israel. Israel has the right to exist. I will always say that. The Jewish people have the right to exist. I don't know where you guys want to throw us. But at the end of the day, man, like right now, like you need to do some major PR. That's the truth. I might get kicked out of a synagogue right now for saying all this, but it's the truth. Lanley wants to laugh. He's probably holding his mouth. I'm getting my Jew card revoked. I'm like, everything's happening right now. This is not the popular opinion. I'm not popular with the woke right, woke left, and now with the Jewish tribe. But that's the truth. Yes,
Yep.
Israel is our biggest ally in the Middle East. One of our biggest allies, 100%. I can't disregard that. But at the end of the day, if Trump says no, like it gotta be no, man. Like you, if there's a way to get peace now, like we need peace. We need peace, and we need to focus on how to make the world's economy great. That's it. Bottom line. That's my thought. Those are my thoughts on that. Love your
We're
suit,
literally look. I love this suit. It's a great suit, right? It's the best suit. It's probably the greatest suit that's ever been worn. I like the tie as well.
I wore something like that this week, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great look. I enjoy it.
You even copy me with a goddamn puppet.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Definitely. This is David Gockstein puppet. I know you're a big enjoyer of New World cigars as well. So,
I mean, Landy, you don't have to answer it, but did I say anything wrong just now? Like seriously,
No.
like
No.
Do you have a different opinion? Like to me, to me, I feel like that's the truth. Like I'm
I have a
a
s- I
Jewish
have a
person
similar
that's saying, like, listen, we got to pause a little bit. We got to pause here. The
I
PR
have
is
a, s-
off.
I have a similar opinion. Look, first off, the notion that Israel controls the United States is patently false and stupid. Actually, all you got to do is look at the United States corporate investment in companies that are in Israel, the United States investment into Israel as a foothold in the Middle East throughout history. And then all of the different defense contractors and defense deals that are done with Israel are coming from the United States side of things to secure our interests in that area and really strengthen a longstanding ally in that area from the formation of Israel. So it is really the other way around. It's just that BB does his own thing, which they're their own country. They can do their own thing. But they don't control the United States. There's a lot of foreign interest and investment and a lot of foreign actors that try to worm their way into the halls of DC in the United States. Israel is one amongst a whole host of others. And that includes international special interest and national special interest. So, look, Washington itself is its own beast, and a lot of people who talk about Washington or politics and stuff like that, they don't really have an understanding of being on the ground in Washington and how Washington itself is its own culture, even. And it's a very entrenched um, ideologically fluid, based on dollars, type of a city. And it needs to be rooted out. I don't know if we'll ever see it rooted out in our lifetimes, but what we what we have seen with Israel specifically is that under the Trump administration, Trump and Israel is not purely, at the behest of any other country, but there's a lot of European influence in EU and NATO influence in Israel as well, right? So you can draw a through line from the big banking sectors all the way through, New York, London, Davos to
Yeah.
every other major player in the game that is a NATO nation, every player in the game that's a EU nation, right? So there is a lot of vested interest here. And what I'm going to say here is actually not controversial, even though people will find it controversial. What Trump has been doing on the geopolitical side of things is nothing short of absolute dominance and brilliance. Because, and this is something that whether you believe he came up with the plan or not, doesn't really matter because he's the guy that's implementing the plan. So he will get credit for that plan. And that plan has been working from day one that he came back into office, increasing our energy capacity, immediately using tariffs as a tool to negotiate and weaken enemies and put them in a bind around the world. See, people didn't really and still don't seem to fully grasp the change that he is implementing, the change not just that he's implementing, but his administration is implementing on the geopolitical side of things, the economic side of things, the security side of things, the military side of things. He's actually implementing plans that have been drawn up for a long time that he's come in and put his stamp on as well for the goals that he wants to achieve. But many of these things have been policies that we have been floated out there to regain dominance on the world stage that many politicians and presidents have been too weak to implement. And he is implementing those plans. And it has gone off very well. Venezuela could have went horribly wrong, right? If there had been one soldier that had gotten, gotten killed, if there had been, one American soldier that had gotten killed, or if there had been a need for some sort of ground operations there that were extended, it could have turned into an absolute quagmire. The same can be said that if anything really went wrong, and let's say that Iran was as strong as they claimed they were, which they clearly weren't, they got absolutely flattened. Um, if they were even or if they had the assistance and let's say China and Russia did get directly involved, these were all things that you could say could have went the wrong way, but Trump salted the ground first. He did it first. He took control. This was very methodical from the economic side of things to the military side of things to the geopolitical positioning side of things to negotiations to locking up agreements to reassuring allies and reconvening the Abraham Accords and making sure everybody was on the same page. This was all very well orchestrated by the administration, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not. If you think that they're stupid, then you are going to lose every time. If you underestimate, let's say you're on the left and you are going to sit here and underestimate the Trump administration, Trump himself, and all of the different allies of Trump, then you are actually putting yourself in a losing position by thinking that they're stupid. And quite frankly, that means you lose right off the bat. And Trump doesn't go into any situation. If you've noticed from first administration to this second administration, he doesn't go into situations without holding, well, the Trump card. Because you could argue, and this was my point about all you had to do was look at January to February for the Iranian rial. And you could see that something was coming immediately because it absolutely tanked 95%. That's what caused the protests, by the way, there, that then the Iranian regime put down very, very violently to the tune, by some international estimates, as high as 45,000 protesters were killed. Now, nobody knows the verified numbers. I don't know how they come up with those numbers, but it's the international consensus has been anywhere from 20 to 40 and as high as 45. That was caused because the economy collapsed. And you could tell that, I don't know, having a buildup of a naval armada outside your doorstep might be a hint that something might happen when, just like in Venezuela. And Trump actually has shown backbone in executing even when it's unpopular. More importantly, I think that you have to give him credit for executing these plans when they are intensely unpopular, knowing that there is vested interest and already laying the groundwork for the propaganda to come. Because trust me, other nations and our enemies knew that this would be a possibility and have had all of those materials for propaganda. They were laying the groundwork for sponsorships and worming their way through different organizations to get to different people to try and grab microphones through independent media and like all this kind of stuff well ahead of time.
Yeah.
So this was well known that they were going to, that the United States would possibly do this. And then it literally lines up with the national security um, documentation that the Trump administration issued last year and released last year. There's literally, it's following it lockstep. And that doesn't mean that everything goes 100% according to plan. But if you look at that and you line up with what we have seen economically and geopolitically, it's absolutely brilliant. He didn't luck into having us be the #1 oil producing nation in the world, oil and natural gas producing nation in the world, just to have ships come over here. Oh, well, we just so happen to, oh, well, we lucked out because the strait is having problems and now they're headed here. No, it's literally, when that happened, it wasn't, they were trying everything they possibly could to avoid coming over to the United States and actually picking up oil here. He kept putting the call out. And it wasn't until they advanced the agenda for the negotiations with the EU that were put into play last year that they were slow walking the entire time. They finally relented when the United States was like, we're going to blockade, because even they didn't understand that we're just going to blockade Iranian ships. And they immediately advanced that stuff, which allowed those contracts to be signed, which allowed those ships to get on, to get underway towards the United States. This kind of stuff is not on a whim. He didn't just, and if you think that he just lucked into all of this, well, boy, oh boy, have I got something to tell you. I've got some really beautiful beachfront property to sell you in Montana. Okay.
I
All
got
right.
the Brooklyn Bridge still. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'll sell you.
Jews own everything.
I'm going to sell you a deep water well in Nevada. Okay. It just, I'll give you a tour of Area 51 if that's really what you think. Okay. So realistically, we have a situation where the president is executing on what he campaigned on. He campaigned on no new forever wars. Everybody loves to cut those clips short. No new wars, no new forever wars. If you take in the context of those rallies, he's got tons of rallies. You can go and actually watch them instead of just trying to take a clip out of context. He ran on not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons or material. All right. And what did he say? Each and every time that he ran, he said, I will bomb them if need be. What is peace through strength? It is you whack somebody with the stick and then you offer your hand, you offer the olive branch, right? That's peace through strength. And anybody who doesn't understand peace through strength, by the way, you weren't ever associated with anybody in the military then, because peace through strength is actually taught in war colleges as well. So there's a lot of stuff here that people they get on the microphones, they get on the timeline, they bloviate about just their ideas about what their framework for things are and their limited understanding, instead of actually consulting people that understand these things and bringing on people who actually are going to give you the perspective of the United States instead of our enemies or being paid by our enemies. There's some famous people out there that I've seen make the rounds, and then all of a sudden they got called out for some of their previous BS that all of a sudden now they don't want to show their face anymore. Go figure, Scott.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Listen.
look, there's things that could go wrong. This could go horribly wrong. Look, they could say they're going to do this. They could get us on the ground there to go and recover nuclear material, and they could ambush us. All right. That could absolutely happen, which what I would need to see is Trump bring in an international team, because that would really They wouldn't want to do that because now it's no
Yeah.
longer the administration in the United States that's going in to help remove this material. Maybe they're leading the way, but they're going in with an international coalition to remove that material. And once that material is secured, that still doesn't guarantee that they don't start popping off at the mouth again and need to be slapped back into their place. They lost China on this one. They lost Russia on this one. And China's feeling the squeeze now. And for anyone that doesn't think that China's not feeling the squeeze, I'm sorry, you live in La La Land. Go do some research.
You live in La La Land. Landy, I appreciate you coming on today, and I appreciate
Thanks for
Rob
having
also
me.
coming on. I like the banter, and looking forward to seeing you next Friday.
It was a
between you
great
and Rob.
conversation, and I appreciate Rob a lot for coming on and having allowing me to kind of go back and forth with him because I think Rob is a good guy.
He is. He's a good guy. Anybody who doesn't know Rob Nielsen, he worked for Fox. He was a trendsetter. He was
Nelson.
like one of the most, one of the first most outspoken people out there in media. So Rob's really cool. He has his own show on Mondays and Wednesdays. You can check him out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Goshstein Network. And of course, you can check out the legendary Puppet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also check him out on Spaces. I don't know the schedule. He pops in everywhere. He has like 19 phones and he's on 19 spaces at the same time. So you can go ahead and check out the Puppet, Landy, out there breaking down the markets and even getting political with you. Landy, I hope you have a great weekend. It is, by the way, it is 80 degrees outside. In 20 minutes, I'm going to finish up work, but I am going to go out, work out outside. I'm going to tan my balls, and then I'm going to come right back in. Wow, that was pause, real pause.
I was waiting for you to have the realization there, but okay. Yep. You got it.
Some people texted me and said, I like the panel. I like how you moderated two people. That might be a thing. We might make that a thing. We might bring on people to go ahead and have a debate, whether it's crypto, whether it's politics. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe I should do it.
David, you well know that people love to come after the Puppet. And the Puppet is always up to have a conversation because I don't think that was a debate. I think that was actually a good conversation. I don't think it was actually a debate. It was him expressing his opinions, me expressing mine. Now, if a debate, I'm going to come with notes, and I will break down the history of a topic all the way from start to end, and then. You know, maybe I get a little froggy in debates. I turn from a puppet into a frog.
I think I want to say something. I want to say something. It's funny, but
I'm reading the chats here.
I want to say that I think hold on. No. I won't say it. I won't say it.
We're trying to stay on TikTok.
I think a ball sack company should sponsor me. Like, you know, because
you could just hold up some novelty nuts and be like, look, I've got
like,
balls.
A ball sack powder company should, like, you know, like, hey, have you gone 10? Because thinking of 10 in my, right. So it's like, oh, do you want to smell good now and there?
That's some California talk right there, brother. That's some Cali talk. Like that's some going to the beach.
Hold on, somebody said truck nuts is already out there. Hold
truck
on.
nuts,
What
yeah.
the fuck? Truck
You've
nuts?
never seen truck
Really?
nuts?
That's a thing? No.
Well, oh my God, you have been stuck on that island for way too long. You have not seen truck nuts. Get out towards the Catskills. Those boys are jamming around with truck nuts on the back of their truck.
Oh no, I thought it was a product. I've seen those things on the highway.
Yeah, that's truck nuts.
No, but I'm saying I thought it was a product for men.
For men. No, that's a service. It's Get your
Oh
nuts
my
truck.
god! Like I just gave somebody an idea. Hey, are you using truck nuts?
That's a number you call, and then you meet up with a lady of the night later. That's truck nuts. That's the service. You're confusing that with the product.
Is your girl looking at you all weird lately? Well, here's a solution for you: truck nuts. That's right. Imagine a commercial like that. Truck nuts. Oh my! I would die if I seen a commercial like that. I'd fucking die, man. Oh my lord!
You might be looking at a suspension at this point.
Hey, truck nuts was worth it.
Jessica says, "Oops, I completely derailed this conversation."
Guys, have you been suffering with?
Have you been suffering from?
I want to say something, and I'm just scared.
Nuts.
No, it's not. No, I wanted to say something else. Should I say it? Fuck! Like I can't stop myself. Like I really can't stop myself from saying shit, man.
Usually, conversation turns to shit, not nuts. Yeah, this conversation went a little nuts.
Do your nuts smell like some expired ass Doritos? I got the solution for you, right?
Truck nuts.
Oh
Just shake a little bit of this magic powder on your nuts and be smelling fresh all day. Keeps the moisture away.
Shout out to the sponsors. You know, the sponsors. Oh my god. Oh my god. I guarantee you though, some of these. Oh, I can't.
Introducing our newest line of products, tea bags. For all you tea baggers out there. From the makers of truck nuts. Here comes the tea bag.
Where did this go wrong? Like, where did this? We went from talking about
geopolitics.
Oh my god! You would think I'm running for president of the United States of America. You would think we're talking about like these kind of topics that are crucial towards. Well, I think this is an absolute crucial topic. I actually think the truck nuts is a very interesting topic here. Have you ever gone and played basketball and you got a whiff? My man.
Oh, I gotta stop reading the comments. I'm dead.
Cash Out says 5 minutes of nuts. Whoa, pause. Pause on that comment. Yo, I can't even read any of this stuff.
No, because it is all going to be clipped out of context during your presidential run.
Did you not say? Play the clip. Did you not talk about nuts on your show?
Look, man. Make sure you check, okay? Make sure you're keeping track of what's going on down there. Anything wrong with your nuts, and truck nuts isn't able to help you, then make sure you see a doctor. This is not medical advice.
You know, hygiene is important, ladies and gentlemen. I would be the perfect spokesperson for truck nuts. Landy muted himself because he's fucking laughing. Yo, you guys don't see it, but I see when somebody mutes themselves. Like he's muting himself because he's dying laughing.
Oh man. Trump's got the famous line for grabbing things. And now you've got your famous line.
Landy, hold on.
What if
anything Trump gets us banned? Anything Trump. Please.
Do you think about the marketing opportunity?
Trump talk about Trump nuts and that oh my god.
Trump nuts. You know what? That should be, he resolves this situation.
Oh my god.
Amicably. And let's say we take control of lifting sanctions and we take control of, oil infrastructure in Iran. Let's say that it goes the Venezuela route in a perfect world, right? Honestly, he should sell Trump nuts, just a giant set of truck nuts that you could just hang on the hitch of the truck. I would totally take that sponsorship, by the way. Look, anybody from the Trump team, if you're listening, please make those, and we will definitely be the sponsors of those. And I'm going to constantly say, look, all he had to do is grab him by the nuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I don't appear on Twitter, TikTok, you know what happened. You know exactly what happened. But by the way, I'm surprised that, and I'm not even sponsored by them, and I should be, but Manscaped, right? I'm surprised they didn't come out with these nuts.
These nuts. I'm sorry. I just read I think Mark credit to Mark Carmichael. They should hang them on Air Force One. Just flying through the air. Just a giant set of Trump nuts on the back. Just like it's like the hitch.
Oh my god, I got some wicked thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
Like you know how like you have air freshener fucking air fresheners that you can hang from the fucking grill where, right? So hang them on your instead of that,
have nuts hanging there. Like, oh man, they're extra low. They're in my field of vision today. Gotta move them out of the way. Just batting them out of the way as you're driving down the highway.
I don't know where this one left. I don't know where it left or right. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. I don't know where it went. I don't know where we are right now. Like, I honestly, this is not me. It's AI.
I've upset Gentle.
Just because if I get suspended, like I'm claiming AI. AI. Oh, thanks. By the way, Jessica, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jessica from TikTok, thank you so much for derailing this fucking chat. Live show was ending perfectly. I know you had to bring up truck nuts. Do you understand how immature I can get? You can't mention these things around me.
Oh my god.
This is like a pitcher throwing a ball right down the middle and I see a bow. I'm hitting this out the park, man. You can't do this to me.
I got a message from no, I can't. I don't know if I could say that. I don't know if TikTok. This is a well-known. So for the jarheads,
you probably can't. Okay.
Okay.
Type it into the goddamn chat. Let me see. No, into our chat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you're a jarhead, you know of a specific game that is a bit of a joke. Just do those with a set of Trump nuts.
No. Don't do it, bro. I already know what's coming. Pause. No. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
I so want to say that out loud.
No, but no. Oh my God. What is happening here?
Yo,
don't let Blandy cook. Why are you encouraging him? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You guys think the show?
Just imagine that game, that very famous game, that the Marines like to play as a bit of a joke, just with Trump nuts.
I just wrote something.
Oh no. Okay, we're getting really immature behind the scenes here. Maybe Gentle Storm was right. Maybe the show is over. See you Monday. Before we're pushing the limits here, the algo's gonna get us at some point.
Yeah, we're so fucked. Oh my God, air fresheners are nutsacks. That's a good. That's actually a great idea.
Oh my God.
Listen, this part of the show is about men's health, okay? And men's hygiene. A lot of you men, I don't even want to call you men. A lot of you boys out here, absolutely, you smell like ass and onions. Bad, no deodorant, nothing. Have you ever got a whiff of some of these dudes walking by?
New from Trump nuts, ball busters. Ball busters dust. Just go ahead and sprinkle a little on there. Yeah, I know exactly where
I'm so dying to say it.
Yeah, no, that is definitely, that's more than.
I'll get suspended for life.
Yes, you might never be back on TikTok if you said that. Oh man,
so that was great. Instead of ending on what we were trying to end on, why is everything that I'm saying right now, coming off so bad?
Yep. There's no getting away from this. That you just have to basically just rap. David, thank you for having me today. It was a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
It's great seeing Rob again.
Yeah, use deodorant. And thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. Oh my God, nothing sounds right today. Nothing sounds right. Nothing. But appreciate. What is this? Bro smells like Italian grinders is real. What?
Where is this coming from?
What is that?
Oh, he's talking about that New York City deli smell.
There's another smell in New York City that
don't do it. No.
You're testing me. You guys are fucking testing me. Stop adding me and stop with the comments already. Stay silent like you always do. Be like X people. Just watch the show and don't comment.
You know what's sad is somebody just messaged me a joke that I think TikTok would actually be fine with, which I think is like this kind of sad state of affairs that we're in, because some of these things we should be able to joke about. And then somebody messaged me a joke that I think is actually would be perfectly fine on TikTok, considering some of the content I've seen. And, oh,
my God. Well, again, I want to thank you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God.
That was the joke that was messaged to me. Yeah. About New York City. You know where that was going, right?
Yeah, but I know where it's going. I already know what I'm thinking.
I was kind of thinking the same.
You know what's fucked up about me? Like, if you ever, like, if you're walking with me out here, like I'm not in New York City, but if you're walking out here with me and we're in New York City, like, I don't say, like, unless like I know you, I'm not having a conversation with you. Like, but as I'm walking, my facial expressions say everything. The way you guys always like say, like, David, your eyebrows moved all the time. When I'm walking in New York City, you will know exactly what I'm thinking by my facial expressions. Like, I'm literally typing out a message with my facial expressions.
Yep.
What did you write me here? I'm probably going to say it out loud.
Oh, no. They were talking about the grinders, and I was like,
oh my God.
There's a difference between New York City grinder and New York City grinder. All right.
I tell people they smell. Like, literally in person. You know, I don't know if this was fucked up or not. Before you go, I'm going to ask you if this was fucked up or not. There's a dude who, like, legit, I'm not going to say where, but, like, there was a dude that really, like, he smelled.
Yeah.
So I went to the store and I got him deodorant. Is that a bad move? Or is that me being a caring person and saying, like, bro, like, I mean,
Well,
at the same time, I was catching a migraine, so I needed to help. My own personal situation
look,
was
there's
I'm
a
getting a
there's a
migraine.
breaking point. There's a breaking point where this must be done to send a message, right? Like not even I'm not being helpful at that point if I'm in the store buying deodorant for someone else and telling them to put it on. I'm instructing at that point
I
where they
think
are not
I
going to
think
be
I
in my
made a
presence
mistake
any
though.
longer.
But I made a mistake. I bought deodorant and soap. I'm not even kidding. This is
That's
true
not you
story.
being a caring person. That's you sending a message, sir. That's
You know what it
sending
is?
a
Like,
message of you need to go take a shower, bro.
my parents raised me like a fucking soldier. That's the problem. Like, I don't think people understand European parents. Like, I don't you don't understand how European parents are. Especially that they lived under communism and shit. Like, you don't understand how they are, man. Like, you're taking a shower. You're like, you are going to be clean. Like, I was not allowed to leave the house unless I was spotless. I'm talking about
Yep.
like there couldn't be like not a stain on the shirt, man. You can't have black on your collars, bro. Like, I mean, nothing. You got to make your shit's ironed. Like, all these things were taught, and some people might say, "Oh, that's too much." No, it's not. No, it's not. You are raising. My parents raised a kid who can go out there, who's clean, smells good, his hygiene's on point, he's polite, respectful, all that stuff. A lot of you guys might think I might not be politeful. Let me tell you something. I really show respect to a lot of people. 100%. It's only when you get on my bad side that I can get surgical with it. Like, there's no problem. Like, if you have the right to offend me, I can offend you. I choose not to go that route, but I will offend you if necessary, if you offend me. But I'm saying I held the door. Like, let me. In New York City, nobody holds doors. New York City, nobody holds a fucking door. I seen a person from out of state going and thinking that somebody's gonna hold the door for them, only to have the door smack them in the face. Heavy door, broken nose. Like, I would hold the door for elderly people. I would hold the elevator for elderly people. I would help people that I didn't know, just like walk into hold their bags. That's how I was raised. I think my parents were fantastic. This generation,
now when you walk around, though, when you walk around, you don't exist. No one exists. I mean, you've seen it probably even in person. People just, walking over people that are, they could be dying on the sidewalk and they're walking right past. Nothing. They don't even bother to stop and help.
A woman gets smacked, right? Back in the day, we're doing the river dance on a dude.
Yep.
Like, I'm telling you right now, if I ever saw and this has happened as I was growing up, I've seen dudes put their hands on a woman. Guess what happened? Guess what happened? They got smacked. 100%.
Yep. That is, and
that's not me being a cuck, okay? For anybody who's gonna say I'm a cuck, I'm gonna tell you right, it has nothing to do with being a cuck. When we seen women, anybody, some dude trying to rob, they're getting the river dance on their asses. Go ahead and try that in Coney Island. I dare you. I dare you to try any of that shit in South Brooklyn. I dare you. You would have never, ever, ever, ever done that again. Now, this current generation, they see that shit happening, they're like this.
Yeah.
Videotaping it. Bro, put your fucking phone down, go help. That woman that was set on fire on the subway in New York City, instead of videotaping, go help. What the fuck are we doing here? We got people trying. I seen in California, you got a dude just standing there waiting for the train. Some dude comes out of nowhere trying to push him on the train tracks. Who the fuck raised you?
Well,
mental health. I told you, mental health, big issue, man. Big time issue, bro.
Well, yeah, and we can thank the media and social media for the majority of that, and really lax kid gloves when it comes to the judicial system, especially in the more liberal states like California, New York. It's a challenge, and it allows for people to feel like they can do whatever they want with no repercussions, and then that causes the fear of getting involved by others. And unfortunately, it's a societal change that is not unique to the United States right now.
You know what it is, Landy? Somebody said, and they're right. Digital said today you get arrested for that kind of stuff, and it's true. You'll save a woman, and you'll get arrested for it.
Oh yeah,
that's fucked up. That is that right there is fucked up, and it's true. That happens. Seems like the good people, good Samaritans, get fucking, punished for doing a good deed. That the society is fucking cooked. All right, 3:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Landy, thank you very much for coming on. I'm gonna come back here after this commercial break to do the quote of the day, and we are done. I am done. I gotta hop on a call, and then I'm going outside doing a workout. A lot of you guys don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm a workout, and then I'm gonna be excited to tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to watch Landy break down the markets. Landy, thank you very much for joining. It was a good time.
Yep. Thank you, David. Have a great weekend.
That is Landy. Give him a follow. At Crypto Landy on X. Also at Landy.btc. At Landy.btc on TikTok. We will be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. We're back, and here's the quote of the day. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Appreciate it. Quote of the day: you don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. That's it. That's the quote of the day. It's true. Except if you're me. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. I want to thank the sponsors, Midnight, Poly Market, Cake Wallet, the People's Reserve. We got more partnerships on deck. We'll talk about that later this week or next month, I should say. I want to thank, again, TikTok, always great. The moderators, Tech, Fran, everybody who shows up on there as well. There's a whole audience, consistent audience that shows up. I appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to the people on X that tune in every single day. Shout out to the people on YouTube that tune in every single day to go ahead and tune into me. And also Getter. Getter has been great to me. They have been, I guess, pushing out my streams there, showcasing the show in general. And I appreciate them for that. We'll do some more things with Kick. Also, I am probably going to fly down to TikTok's headquarters. Obviously, I told you about the exciting news earlier in this program. I'm going to be doing the Renegade in front of the TikTok headquarters. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. 3-panel, yes, Tech. I think we're going to do a 3-panel. I think once a week. I want to give it a try. I think it's a really cool concept. I didn't think much of it until I actually did it today. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think the crowd liked it. A lot of people DM'd me and said, "Hey, Dave, I actually like the 3-panel thing that you were doing, and I didn't know that you were a really great moderator." Of course, I'm a great moderator. That's why people want to come back to the goddamn show. Why people want to go ahead and be on this show. What else? Nothing else. Just be good to people, man. And by the way, it is Friday. Go chill. Go have some fun. Go enjoy the weekend. I'm going to go enjoy the weekend. It's going to be sunny. I'm going to be tanning. Okay, I'm going to be tanning. I'm going to get my tan on. Okay. Lifting heavy things. Lift heavy things. Lift heavy. I have so many jokes right now. Lift heavy things, though. Lift heavy things. Anyway, on that note, I'm out. Did I just do the wrong sign? I'm out. There you go. I did the wrong sign.